Hello everyone and welcome back to World of Warplanes. This time we'll be taking a look at the Tier 8 German ground pounder. It's the ME-329. So, let's first check the history and then we'll start going through the stats and some gameplay. So, the history, it was designed simultaneously with the ME-265, which is the Tier 7 version, as a new multi-role attack aircraft for the Luftwaffe. Never entered mass production. So, okay, it was built the same time as this thing, or in other cases, as where it is, this one. As you can see, there's a clear resemblance. They do look very similar. But yeah, this is the ME-265. The one we're doing today is the ME-329. Where'd it go? Here it is. Okay. So, that's the history. Not really a actual World War II plane in the sense that it wasn't really ever built, or if it was just very small amounts. And yes. So let's check what Wargaming says about this plane and my thoughts on the plane. So, it's got powerful autocannon armament effective against ground targets. It's a ground pounder, so it better be able to deal with ground targets. Okay. I don't think the guns are fantastic. What guns does it have? It's got 430s. So I think these are the ones that are on the ME-262, the TA-183. There's stock guns for the HG2 and stock guns for the upgrade. So whatever. So I mean they're good guns, right? They're not bad. For ground pounding, these guns are good. But on the 262 and TA-183, no, I don't think they're great. But that's besides the point. On this plane, they're pretty good. And they do deal with ground targets reasonably well. But again, well, I'll get back to it a little bit later. But just note that I don't think they're fantastic at destroying ground targets. But let's move on. Good survivability, resistant to critical damage and fire. Good survivability because it's an attack aircraft, right? So I have a couple of equipment modules. So this is not what you're going to have on yours initially, but right now I have 1328 hit points, which is not too bad. Granted, it is less than the IL-20, but this plane has other things going for it than the IL-20 does not have. So the IL-20 beats it in survivability. But compared to heavy fighters and other planes at this tier, it's got very good survivability. But it is an attack aircraft. You'd kind of expect that from it. Oh, and I guess we could also compare it to the French attack aircraft, right? The premium one. So I guess I'll have to do that. Anyway. Low airspeed but good boost. No, this is not true. This is not true at all. Maybe low airspeed compared to other planes at the tier, but compared to other ground pounders, it's exceptional. It is incredibly, incredibly good. So, no, it does not have low airspeed. It does have excellent boost. If I remember correctly, it's got 45 seconds boost, which is substantial. It is very, very good. But top speed at best altitude is 404, but if you're holding boost all the time, you're hitting 500 easy. And 500 for a tier 8 ground pounder is phenomenal. It is very, very good. And that is one thing this plane has over the IL-20, substantially so. It is way faster than the IL-20. Alright. Ineffective in maneuvering combat. No, duh, you're an attack aircraft. Of course you're not going to have good maneuverability. So yes, you have terrible maneuverability. But, as I say that, it still has better maneuverability than the IL-20, significantly. And it's due to this that you can actually dogfight IL-20s with ease. I don't know about the French one, but the French one's pretty weak in my opinion. I've never had any issues destroying them. So, take it as you will. But yes, you really should not be shooting down air targets with this. You're a ground pounder, but it has the ability, it has the maneuverability for an attack aircraft to deal with aerial targets if you have to. Effective in destroying ground targets in low-level flight. Really? I didn't think I needed to say that. But yes, you are a ground pounder. Of course, you're going to be flying low. I think it does have better altitude performance than the IL-20, but you're an attack aircraft. You really don't need that altitude performance. You really don't. Because you're going to be shooting ground targets, right? Alright, equipped with a defensive turret. Yes, that's all it says. It says if equipped with it. It doesn't say it's a good one, and there's a reason why. Because, well, let's see. What is the turret? It's a 20 mil, a single gun, just a 20 mil gun, sitting right here. And it's not that great. Some would disagree, but I feel like the tail gunner on the ME-265 is far superior than this ME-329's rear gunner, tier for tier. And even still, let's check it real quick. The ME-265 has 4 13s. You have 4 guns. 4 tail guns. And I think that is fantastic for that tier. That is really, really good. That's very concentrated. But, it's 20 mil. It doesn't have the same punch as 4 guns. Yeah, sure, it's a higher caliber, but you're cutting off 3 guns just for that higher caliber, and I don't think it's worth it. If it had two 20 mils, then it'd be great. But 1 feels underpowered to me compared to the ME-265. When I got this plane, that was the first thing I noticed. It took me way longer to shoot down aerial targets with my rear gunner. So, just keep that in mind. Some would disagree, but to me personally, it is a very weak gun, tail gunner, compared to the 4 guns on the 265. And then it carries powerful bombs rather. So yes, it carries these 250 kilogram bombs that you get on basically everything, the SD-250s, and yeah, you get them on so many German planes. If you've played the, oh well, maybe not. It shows that it's not the same bombs that are on the ME-265. Is that true? I want to double check this now. I want to make sure that I'm saying the right stuff. I thought they were, but maybe I was wrong. Okay, so they are bigger bombs. They are more powerful bombs. You get an extra 600 damage per bomb, which is very nice. So yes, I was wrong. These bombs are not the same as the previous plane. But if you've gotten used to the bombs on the 265, these bombs play almost identically tier for tier. So yeah, that's awesome. But I should mention that's the only ordnance you get. You get these 2 bombs, you don't get any rockets or anything. And that is where the Il-20 is far superior than this plane. It's got way more ordnance. So, with that being said, what was I going to say? Powerful autocannon armament, effective ground targets. Yes, I wanted to come back to that. So, I found this plane to be effective in one role. Getting from sector to sector. Taking the factories, I think the Il-20 is far better, because you have a lot more ordnance to do it. This plane, you drop your 2 bombs, and you do have a very short reload. I don't remember the reload off the top of my head, but it's a very short reload. So, you know, you drop your 2 bombs, you shoot some stuff, and then you wait for your bombs to reload, and you drop those again, especially when you're at factories. The guns, while they can take out armored targets, you really don't want to be shooting armored targets unless they're already damaged and weakened. It will take you a pretty substantial amount of time to destroy the armored targets. That's why I suggest shooting down AA guns or light tents, like the lightly armored tents or lightly armored buildings and stuff. You can destroy those with ease. That's where the guns are very effective. But you have those 2 bombs to drop on armored targets. And then to deal with armored targets for the rest of the time, you really just have to you can't really deal with armored targets until you get your bombs back. That's your main weapon against armored targets. I really don't feel like these guns are super great at destroying armored targets. Alright, now I've said that, now let's move on to the service real quick. And you'll see that again in the gameplay. I'll go over it. You'll see it very easily. I actually have standard ammo on this right now because I haven't played it in a while, but recently I've been using universal ammo and everything I fly. But yeah, do whatever. Of course you want to have your bombs. That's your main defense against armored targets. It's the main thing you use to destroy armored targets, and they are very nice bombs, I'll give them that. I have a first aid package, pneumatic restarter, and control surface trim because I don't do fire extinguishers. For upgrades, I'm pretty sure okay, yeah, this is the same top engine as the ME-265, so you shouldn't have to research that at all, especially if you researched it on the 265. But that just kind of brings me to the point where this plane doesn't feel like a strong enough upgrade over the 265 to warrant a whole tier higher. You carry the same engine, your bombs are marginally better, your tail gunner feels weaker, and your guns, I mean, they're decent guns, right? So you do have nice forward guns compared to the 265 tier for tier, but that's about it. I honestly would prefer playing the 265 over this plane. I'll just put that out right now. I'm not saying this plane is bad, I just prefer the 265 tier for tier. Especially since you really don't have any better engine, you don't really feel that much faster, if at all. Anyway, I went with reinforced airframe 2 and improved coverings to give me increased hit points. I think this was 15%, was it? Yep, 15% plus 5% with improved coverings give you a total of 20% increased hit points. And then this is minus 20% crit damage, and this is minus 10%, so minus 30% crit damage. I will take it. That seems pretty good. And then I also went with concealed livery 3 because for some reason AA guns just chew this plane to shreds. So yeah, that's the one I went with. Alternatively, you could replace this improved coverings with this turret stabilization 3 to give you increased range. But personally, I wouldn't do that. But, make this plane suited for what you want it to be suited for. Paint shop. Let's check that out. But as you can clearly see, I don't have a paint job in mind. Yes, you don't get any free paint scheme, unfortunately, which also means your beta sticker cannot go on this plane, which sucks, and I still don't understand why they've done that. As for pilots, well, my attack aircraft pilot is in my tier 9 plane right now, so we're going to jump to that plane to see where it's at. And I just screwed that up, didn't I? Whatever. I'll figure it out later. So, I went with Demolition Expert. Increased damage caused by bombs and rockets, and their blast radius by 15%. That's really nice. So, definitely do Demolition Expert. It's very good for this plane. I also went with, this one was the first one, Resilience. I do really like this skill on my attack aircraft and bombers. I think it works very well. Basically, you repair, oh, just went away. When you get down to 30% health, it removes all crit damage fully, not just to yellow, but like fully. And it reduces your engine and weapon overheating by 50%, 50%, which is substantial. And it also increases your maneuverability and your engine thrust by 5%. So, of course, this skill only does come in effect when you're at 30% health, but if you're on fire or you've taken a lot of critical damage, instead of having to go all the way to the airfield, this is kind of like a somewhat airfield repair. So it removes all your crit damage. Your pilot and your gunner, they don't get hurt anymore if they were injured. And then it gives you buffs to your plane as well. It doesn't just remove the debuffs, it gives you buffs to your plane as well. So your weapon overheating, your engine overheating, that's reduced by 50%, and maneuverability and engine thrust also increased. It is very substantial, and I think it works very well for this plane. So I do highly suggest resilience. And then after that, I really don't know. Maybe you could do protection expert, because you have the two equipment modules for your increased hit points. So that one's not too bad. I went with that one. You can read it as you will. As for this one, I don't know. I just chose random ones, honestly. Reduces. I only have. Well, I used 5 on these because everyone's like, "Oh, these skills are so good." So I did it. See what it was. This one increases burst length of a turret by 20%, and this increases the firing range of a turret by 15%, and the effective turret stabilization by 20%. So if you are going to go down this route, you really do want to make sure you have turret stabilization on your plane to get the full effect of this one. But then I only had 2 skills left, and I didn't want to get these 2 skills, so I just put it on this one. Quick reflexes, aiming time of turret by 50%, but once I get my 3rd skill, I'll retrain it using this. And then I'll probably get this one, defensive fire. Reduces damage from enemy aircraft, which the gunner is firing at, by 30%. That seems pretty effective. So yes, I think that is about it for the 229 rather. I want to see what I did with the crew. I put my HG3 crew in there. Why did I do that? Go back to the... whatever, I'll fix it later. But anyway, let's jump into the gameplay. Hello everyone. Alright, so here's the gameplay section. So here's what I want you to keep in mind while watching this replay. This replay is actually the best replay, or the best battle I had in this plane while flying it. As you could tell, I'd already gotten the tier 9, so this is kind of an old replay. But nonetheless, I want to use up these old replays I have lying around. And I haven't done any attack aircraft reviews, so this is kind of the first one that I'm doing. But things to keep in mind: watch the power of the guns, watch where I drop my bombs, and then also watch for what targets I choose to shoot at with my guns. It's very important that you understand that. So, anyway, we're going in, and the first thing I want to shoot is the AA guns, because I don't want them shooting at me. So I destroy it, and I don't worry about the rest of it because it's armored, and I don't want to waste my bombs on there. Next, I'm shooting at not armored targets, because the guns actually do very well against not armored targets. I drop both bombs on the most heavily armed structure, and I don't destroy the repair spot because, number 1, I was going too fast, and number 2, it's a neutral sector, so it's not, the bots aren't, if they heal themselves, it really doesn't matter. But now I'm turning around and I'm shooting at all the armorless ground targets. So we have these unarmored houses, I guess, and the unarmored AA guns. So I shoot those, I flip around, we almost have this. I found some more unarmored targets, so let's shoot those as well. And now we have the sector. Awesome. Now before I leave, I'm going to pick up some repairs. I think it's been a long time since I've watched this battle, so we will see if I actually pick up repairs. Yes, we do. We're picking up repairs before going because this is an airfield, which means it has the repair spot, and it's also the reason why we did not destroy the repair spot in the first place. I knew we were going to take the airfield, and if I had destroyed it, I would have had to wait for the sector to flip into our favor, for the lock to be destroyed, so that we could actually get the effects of the repairs. But because we did not destroy it, we could get instant benefits. Also, notice that Il-20 that was coming in, I'll probably have to shoot him down so he doesn't shoot me down, because he is another human. Shooting down the unarmored targets, and now I drop my bombs on the armored spots. When you're taking garrisons, those giant structures right there are your top priorities with your bombs. You can destroy the entire thing in just 2 bombs. So you do that. The IL-20 weakened this, so I can take that out pretty easily. Now we have some more unarmored targets, so I'm shooting those. Those are my priority. And now I'm shooting down the AA guns because I can still destroy those pretty simply. Now I got someone on my tail, so I'm using the tail gunner. Also notice I'm keeping my cursor aimed at the plane so that I can do the most damage. If you just hold it down without any thoughts in the world, you will not be doing as much damage to the aerial targets as you could be. So make sure you're actually aiming at the plane and seeing the double circles. Double circles means you're doing the most damage and you're most accurate, and yes, all the good stuff. We took the center, so now I'm going to head to the next nearest and least contested area, which is this garrison. I have my 2 bombs because they reload very, very quickly. I'm trying to stay very low and keeping up my speed. Destroy the AA guns because it's really easy to destroy them. In turn, also notice how fast this plane is. It does have very good airspeed. Would you agree? So here we go. Here's the armored spot again. I did drop my bombs, which was lucky. I'm kind of surprised that actually worked. But yes, we did that. Also, be careful not to hit poles and stuff because they'll destroy you. That guy's on my tail, but he's a very soft target, so I'll just destroy him with my tail gunner. So you can see the tail gunner is not bad, right? It does do the trick, but tier for tier, I feel like the 265's tail gunner is stronger. It does kill planes a little bit faster. But anyway, we destroy that. I destroyed another AA gun. It doesn't take much to destroy lightly armored targets, and that's important. Now I'm looking around trying to see what I can do. My bombs are almost reloaded already, so that is awesome. This is I love the reload on these bombs. It's amazing. So we almost destroyed that. I guess we didn't quite destroy it. And now I dropped my bombs on that. Okay, why not? It doesn't take much to take the sector, so I guess that was a valuable situation, or valuable, yeah, whatever. Now we're going back into the center because they took it. But I'm staying low because you can keep up your speed and you're less likely to get detected. The lower you are to the ground, you get a little bonus to your camouflage if you're down that low, which doesn't mean a whole lot in this game anymore, but regardless, you know, just stay low. It also makes it like if you have a 262 charging down on you, if you're really low to the ground, they have to be very careful about their airspeed when they come down to you, because if they're not, they'll just overshoot you and slam into the ground. So staying low to the ground has its benefits. Our bombs are loaded, so I find the armored target over the garrison, which are these. You should, you know, those are your highest priorities when you're taking out garrisons, just dropping your bombs on that. And as soon as you get your bombs, you really do want to drop them so you can start the reload very quickly. And okay, the bombs have a 45-second reload. I couldn't remember that in the hangar, but yes, it looks like we have that. We have an IL-10M coming in, so he's going to die very quickly. Oh yes, there's also the IL-10M at tier 8. I guess there are quite a few attack aircraft at tier 8, aren't there? There's 4 of them. It's not bad. He's just doing a lot of dodging and weaving. He's not worth my time. Apparently he doesn't want to shoot me, so why would I want to shoot him? My main target needs to be ground targets anyway. But I just didn't want him getting on my tail. That's why I focused on him for a little bit. But he clearly did not want to fight me, so that's okay. We took the airfield, so now I gotta turn around and go to the other airfield. Oh, wait, he still wants to fight. Okay. Well, I wasn't going to fight you, dude. I really wasn't. Well, alright, resilience just popped up, which is good. And, okay, I died anyway. But, you know, that's where resistance can become very useful. So now I have a very fast respawn, so that's cool. I don't know who I'm flying with right now. I haven't gotten to check yet. Oh, Death Nail. I'm flying with Death Nail. I think it's probably the first time I've flown with Death Nail here on the channel. But he's a very good, very skilled pilot, and very fun to fly with. I see him in battle quite frequently. But anyway, we're going back to the airfield. And I'm going to take out this AA gun because it's lightly armored. And I don't use my bombs on those armored targets because I feel like the center objective gives more points. So I'm going to drop my bombs on the center one instead. There they go. They're dropping. And it does not look like my bomb destroyed it completely. So I'm going to have to flip around and destroy it. Somehow that did like no damage to the target. I don't know why. Now this is an enemy repair spot, so I don't want them to get repairs. So I do destroy it in this situation. Finding more light targets. I didn't see any immediately, so I wanted to shoot this guy down. It is just an air defense bot, but still. He's down. Awesome. We almost have this sector. Still not sure how we did not take, how I did not destroy that center objective. But regardless, we do have the area now. And now to just head over to the last sector. And this is where going back and forth between sectors, it's very much a requirement in attack aircraft. The majority of the battles, and the speed of the German attack aircraft is just one significant strength, and it allows you to really book it from sector to sector very quickly, and that's awesome. Now this is already damaged, as you can tell, so I'm just going to shoot it. There's no point in dropping bombs on it. Shooting down the AA gun. We almost have we almost have the battle won. I dropped both bombs on that because I saw that. I shoot down that. There we go. We have maximum superiority.
Great job today.
And that is the end. That was one heck of a battle. Almost 16,000 personal points, which is, I think, a very, very good battle for an attack aircraft. Flying Revenge badge. That's interesting. I don't normally get that. Lang medal for 15 ground targets destroyed in a single sortie. We get Air Wolves, which I don't remember what that one is for. And we also got Hero of the Sky, which is awesome for an attack aircraft. But let's head back to the hangar. And let me speed it up a little bit. Come on. Come on. There we go. Hangar load times was just so long. But Flying Vanguard badge, bunch of other stuff. So yeah, as you can see, a very good battle for this plane. Very, very good battle. Whole bunch of stuff. Lots of credits. We got Flying Start for 3 kills in the first sortie. Rear cover for aerial target with rear turret. Effective fire 5,000 combat points in 2 battles. Avalanche 5,000 or 5 enemy targets destroyed in a single battle. Self-defense master 1 kill with tail gunner, and 75 whatever that one is. Airwolves 10 targets, at least 300 capture points, 450 capture points. Max effect and destruction of infrastructure. Lang medal, which we already talked about. Winged Legend for 14,000 personal points. And Hero of the Sky for highest aircraft type, and Sector Capture, the Flying Vanguard badge. And yes, that is about it with this plane. 82,000 damage to ground targets, not too shabby. And with that, go ahead and leave a comment down below what you guys think of this plane. Personally, I think it's a very fun plane. It is a very good plane. But I preferred the ME-265 over this plane. But that's my opinion. With that, please leave comments down below. I love reading those comments. And I will see you next time.